No worries, no worries. So
Up
you should
there.
see that. Yeah,
Okay.
hello.
Yeah, sir. Go ahead.
You're saying something?
No. Now I'm able to see your screen.
Yeah. So the cost what you are putting, you should compare with the benefit. The cost should definitely be less than, or the benefits what you are expecting should be way ahead or way more than the cost what you're incurring for minimizing your losses. So that would for mitigating your losses. So that would be better to do. Okay. So let's see some example here. A company would probably decide not to buy an insurance policy with a premium of $2,000 to cover an expected loss of $1,000. That doesn't make sense, correct? Next.
Right. Mm.
It is better that they, if they are getting some loss of that kind, they bear that loss because $1,000 is less than the premium what they are paying for that mitigation.
Yeah. Hmm.
Then response planning. See, we are into the fourth step of risk management. How will the managers respond to risks? Either they will try to avoid that risk. Okay.
Okay.
That means don't do such tasks whereby you have risk, or don't go into risky task. Either you avoid that completely. Okay.
Okay.
Either you try to
Hmm.
reduce it by taking some like
Some steps.
uh, yeah, how to reduce it, looking for some means how to reduce it. Okay. Or then you can transfer the risk on third party by taking insurance, or else
Okay.
sometimes retained or risk retention. Sometimes like some portion of the risk is not covered by the insurance. See, if there's a car, if there's an accident happening and there's a damage to a car, so they say that we will insure only 80%, so 20% you have to bear, correct?
Right. Right.
And then either sometimes there is no other alternative but to accept that risk. So we don't have any remedy for that, we have to take it. For example, sometimes there is a, you see, like there is a bridge here and a river is like overflowing over this bridge, like due to floods. And what we see, there is some bus which like the driver takes the risk of crossing this bridge, okay,
Hmm.
which is
Right.
flood affected. And we sitting at home and seeing that on a TV. We definitely, this kind of instances happen in the provincial or countryside areas, okay. We kind of say, we give like a lot of reactions for that. We say the driver who is going through that, who is like crossing that bridge is a mad fellow. Okay, we do that, correct? But do you think we know the circumstances, like what has compelled or made him to cross that bridge? Maybe it's since 2 days he's stuck and he's not seeing anything, any reduction in the water flow. Maybe, and he has seen many people taking chances and passing and crossing the bridge. So he also starts. See, is it like? Do you think it's possible people sitting for 1 or 2 days and waiting for that, not having anything to eat or nothing like that? It's very tough. Constant rains, so they take some chances, and they have no other alternative rather than to take. Correct? Hello, hello.
Yeah, it was on mute. Sorry. Right.
Yeah. So they just cross it. That means they take that chance. Okay, they have no other alternative to do. Alternative or something what they can do about it. So sometimes, and if they cross it, sometimes they cross it successfully and they reach their destination. So sometimes we have to take the risk. We have no other option. Sometimes in the case of investments, you invest and you invest in risky securities and it's a gamble. If it gives very high returns, or else you lose, but you take
Yeah.
it, correct? That's what.
Correct.
So there is a risk map here. Yeah, there's a risk map here. So there are like you see, if the risk what we see here in the y-axis, we see the probability and the monetary impact. So if the probability of certain risk is less or less frequently it occurs, and the monetary impact is also less, it is better to retain. If the frequency is mediocre and the monetary impact is mediocre, you can transfer. Okay, correct?
Matlab?
to third party. Am I right?
Okay.
To third
Okay.
party.
Okay.
And like if the frequency is somewhat more and impact is more, you can try to reduce or prevent yourself from that kind of risk through certain means. And if the impact is very high and as well as the probability is very high, you avoid doing that task and don't go into that. That's the biggest
Correct.
suggestion what we can give. Okay. And then risk monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
See who does the risk, who does the ERM, enterprise risk management function. The financial risk manager of the company is the one who is
Okay.
entitled to the financial related risks management or mitigation of that. Or in some case, actuary is someone who does the overall risk management of the company, and say, whatever they are doing, they have to monitor it, correct? And they have to see whether some changes are required or some kind of strategy change is required, and they have to do that, isn't it so?
Right.
They have to constantly check and see whatever the policies they have framed and implemented, have they got the desired results, and they have to do audits for that. Okay, and try to reduce the expenses, or like whatever they have incurred for mitigating risks, and whatever the strategies they have made. If the strategies have been very costlier ones, they should see for means whereby they can have some economical strategies they can make for risk mitigation. Now, risk appetite and risk tolerance. See, what is risk appetite? How much hungry you are to take risks, and risk tolerance is nothing but like what is your tolerance level? That means
Mm-hmm.
hunger and tolerance is something else. Hunger is nothing but we are hungry to do something. Okay, tolerance is nothing
Okay.
but what you can bear. Okay, how much you can bear. So a risk appetite should be studied, and also the risk tolerance levels. Okay. So,
Okay.
like risk appetite is broadly defined level of risk an organization is willing to accept, and risk tolerance is more narrowly defined. Risk tolerance expresses the acceptance level of variation around objectives. That means what you are ready to accept. Okay, what you can tolerate. Okay, it depends upon your nature, isn't it so?
Right.
So there's an example here. A company's appetite for marketable securities investment risk is expressed in the statement that company does not accept risks that are likely to result in significant marketable risk investment loss. So they don't want to go into that. That is their appetite is what they are showing here. The company's appetite for marketable securities investment risk. So investing in bonds, there is some risk involved in that, correct? Is
Right.
expressed in the statement that company does not accept risks that are likely to result in a significant marketable securities investment loss. See, they don't want to go into loss-making investments. They don't have that appetite. So company's explicit policy with respect to investment loss expresses its tolerance for marketable security investment risk. So the company does not accept risks that are likely to result in marketable securities investment loss of greater than 20% in any given year. That means first thing is they don't have, like, they have hunger for profits, no hunger for losses. Let's say the appetite is like very clear. Tolerance is, see, you have like five chapatis, and
Mhm.
the appetite what you have is just three
For
chapatis. You can,
3 chapatis.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you cannot tolerate more than this, correct?
Correct.
So if the loss goes, if the loss is happening in those securities, they don't want a loss greater than 20% in a year. That is what their tolerance level is, just till 20%, correct?
Correct.
So appetite is something what is your capacity, and in that capacity, if something happens, then what you can tolerate, correct?
Correct.
So that's what, you don't have an appetite. That means you don't want any losses. But if losses happen, you can tolerate only 20% of that. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Any doubts in this?
No, sir. Fine.
Yeah. So that's what it is. That's what you should understand, appetite and tolerance. So it's very clearly explained here that you have an appetite whereby you have shown the interest. You have expressed interest in investing in marketable securities. Okay. And you do not want any of the securities which can give you losses. That means you don't have that appetite at all. Okay.
Okay.
But if the loss happens, then the tolerance level is just 20%. That much you are able to like adjust yourself to. Now that's what I can show here. Your appetite is of 3 chapatis. If someone forces, like your appetite, let's say 5 chapatis have been offered, okay, suppose 5 chapatis, like one plate, the hotel is providing you 5 chapatis. How much? 5 chapatis.
Five
That means they
chapatis.
have a combo. That means you have to pay for 5 chapatis, whatever it is. You have appetite for 2 chapatis, like, but you can tolerate till 3 chapatis, max to max. Understood?
Correct.
That is your tolerance level, max to max. You understood, na? The
Yes, sir.
appetite is clear that you don't want to go beyond 2. But if someone forces or something, you can tolerate till 3 chapatis, like that. Tolerance is
Okay,
nothing
okay.
but the capacity of act, like
Maximum.
what you can accept to
Hmm.
the maximum levels. Appetite is what
Correct.
is your norm. That's what. Managing operational risk. See, operational risks are nothing but in organization there are various operations which happen, and there are various risks in that. For example, there's a machine which is getting which is operated by machine operators, and there can be a breakdown in that machine. Correct? A breakdown.
Correct.
So
Okay.
that kind of risk you can manage by what? By regularly servicing or regularly verifying your machines. Correct? From the experts.
Right.
And that is only the way you can minimize that risk, so that suddenly you may not face any kind of breakdown, and that would disrupt or interrupt your production. Managing financial risk, see, you can take you can you see, like the recent ones, Elon Musk and this Adani,
Uh-huh.
and like Ambani or whatever, the biggest, you see, the industrialists or entrepreneurs in the world, what they do. Elon Musk was the richest man on earth, okay, some
Right.
months back, and he has purchased Twitter for $44 billion.
Hmm.
So, do you think like he has paid from his own pockets? No. Even though he
No.
was having a net worth of some $200 billion or plus, he was the richest man, but still he took debt to buy this.
Hmm.
Okay, but why they do that?
To maximize
It's
their
easily,
own.
it's easily available. And why will they put their money in Twitter? If it
Hmm.
goes into losses, they lose their money. So
Correct.
what they can do? They can borrow. They can put that money here, okay, and from that company they can earn and they can repay the interest. Correct?
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. So Adani and all these people, to acquire big companies, they take debts.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so managing financial risk is nothing, but to what extent you're taking debt? Take it in a combination of 50-50, or if you're taking higher debts, then you should have the capacity to pay that even, or you should be credit worthy so that people will be lending you money. Correct?
Correct.
So a variety of financial instruments can create economic value for a company by managing exposure to financial risk, especially credit risk and market risk. So whenever you take a financial instrument, or let's say the company has invested in bond, there are two types of risks in this investment option. One is credit risk. That means the company to whom you have lent money will not repay your money back. That creates this. And there's a market risk. What is this market risk? The securities will lose its value. Correct? These
Hmm.
two types of risk are there. Am I right?
Right.
So policies and procedures other than financial instruments may also be used in financial risk management. That means they can implement various policies to manage the risk, financial risk. Now, just a second. Just a second. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.